It's so good to be here. I saw the live chat before I joined. Hello, Chido Prince. I saw that you're the first person here. I saw you. You took the front seat today. Congratulations. Hello, Olowa Anna. Hello, Salem David. Wonderful Tochukwu. You're always here. Afoma Cynthia, Miracle, Watobi. Good evening, good evening. Owolabi, Simon Peter. Good evening, good evening. Samuel James, good evening. It's so good to see all of you here. Ruth Victor, good evening. Mr. Lucky Nathan, good evening, good evening. Simon Peter says, I'm looking good. Thank you. Thank you very much. So if you're excited to get on here, to be here, please take the link to this session and share with your friends, okay? Like I told you, I'm just going to be having this conversation, telling you lessons that I've learned, how my experiences have shaped my outlook on life, how I became this woman that I am now. The lessons that have helped me to become this person that I am today. Don't mind me. I'm trying to adjust the ring lights. Yeah, yeah. Hello, believe Elisha. Is this your first time joining? Because I've not seen this name. It's not familiar. Good evening. At least now I can still remember your names. Before long, we'll be too big and too large that I will not be able to know everybody's name. But for now, I know the ones that I've been seeing here. So if this is the first time, please indicate. We have first timers, Zobo and Popo. All right? Okay. So before we get started, take this link and share with your friends, share with your family members. All those your enemies. All of them, they need to join because they need to learn these lessons. I like to say that the reason people are bad is because of ignorance, not necessarily because they don't know. Yeah, there is a percentage of people that know, but are intentionally bad. But there is a larger percentage of people who behave the way they behave because they don't know better. And when you begin to see people like that, you know, from that perspective, believe me, your attitude to them will change because you'll be like, if this person knew better, you wouldn't treat me this way, you wouldn't to me like this, you wouldn't behave the way you're behaving right now, right? So take this link and share with your friends. That's what I'm about to do right now, to copy it and share with everybody on Facebook, on Telegram, on Instagram, on WhatsApp, everywhere, everywhere. Hello, Favor. Hello, Chuku. I'm good. Thank you. Oloa Hannah says, second time. First time service disappointed me. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Amechi Chamaka, good evening. Ngozi Odega, good evening. It's so good to have all of you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amarachi Isaac, good evening, good evening. Favor says, I don't like missing your teaching, but miss to be on live most time. But must go search and watch it. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have you taken the link and shared with your friends and families? Namani Rita, good evening, good evening. So I'll be sharing some valuable life lessons. Like you already know, and in the copy that I wrote, from the copy that I wrote, I am 25. I turned 25 this year. And someone on the outside will be like, what life lesson does a 25-year-old have to give? But, I've learned a lot. I'm a learner, I'm a researcher. In fact, I like to say that I learn better when I experience things myself. So majority of, in fact, all of the things I'll be sharing with you here today are the lessons that I've learned by myself. The experiences I've had and the lessons that um, I learned. Okay, none of it was read from Google. None of them was copied from anywhere or from YouTube. I just sat down and, thought of my life and how I got here. And I felt like these are the ones I feel are most important. There are several other ones that I might bring, I might chip in as I talk, but these are the ones that I wrote down because I feel everybody needs to learn these lessons. And if you have been following me for a while, you would have heard me say a couple of them. But here are my life lessons. So I've been talking since I haven't copied the link to, I haven't shared the link to my Facebook family. So take the link also and share, share, share. Don't forget to share. You can't be taking all these values, or you can't be receiving these valuable, teachings, and you're not sharing with your friends. You don't hoard knowledge. We don't hoard knowledge here. Eh? One thing I've learned, not part of these ones that I put here now, is that hoarding knowledge doesn't make you grow, and sharing knowledge doesn't make you less. So take the link and share. I talk about my mentor Junobidi a lot because he's the well that I draw from, apart from God. He's one of the wells, the major well that I draw from. And it would be irresponsible of me and wicked of me not to tell others about him. So let's learn together, let's grow together. Because the thing is, if everybody learns together and grows together, there will be no need for envy and jealousy because we are all growing almost at the same pace, right? So it's your job to share. It is now their job to implement or to join. You can take a, what is that animal again? Is it donkey or a horse to the stream, but you cannot force it to drink. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. Before I go ahead, tell me where you are joining me from, which country, which state in Nigeria. If you're in Lagos, which part of Lagos are you? Let's get to know each other and where we're joining from. Hello, Victorine. It's good to have you on here. Thanks for joining. I'm waiting to see your responses. Where are you joining me from? Where are you joining from? Okay. Keep it coming. I can't see it yet, but I'm sure you're typing. See the princess, you're joining from Onisha, Anambra State. Okay. Anna is watching from Ikorodu, Lagos. I'm also in Lagos, but I'm in Yaba, Lagos. Favour is watching from Nigeria, Lagos State. Amazing, amazing. That's good to know. All right. Let me wait for others to join too. Sam David is watching from Port Harcourt, River State. Okay. Favour Ophion is watching from Akwa Ibom State. Amazing. You see, virtually all the states are represented. Udala Nomso is watching from Port Harcourt, Eneka. Eneka. I don't know how to pronounce that place. But you're watching from Port Harcourt. Okay, that's good to know. Patience Ebi is watching from Kaduna State. Okay, Believe is watching from Delta. Amechi Chiamaka is watching from Ikorodu, Lagos. Okay, all right, that's awesome. So let's get started already. Let us get started. I am so excited for tonight's conversation, and I'm sure you are. So if you're ready, tell me that you are ready in the comments. Tell me that you are ready in the comments. I'm not even going to waste time. Yeah, this might be the shortest honest conversation we will have on this show. And I am so hoping, I'm so hoping that 9:50 or 10 that we will be done. Hello, David Ame. Watching from Kanu. Okay, okay, okay. You're ready. You're ready. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. So the first lesson that I've learned. So the thing now is there is an outlook that I have. There is a mindset that I have on life, and that is, I think I talked about it in previous conversations. It is that I don't fail. What I do fail. And because I am able to separate myself from my failures, I'm able to look at the lessons that I need to learn. I'm able to learn what that experience is teaching me. I'm able to, separate myself from my experiences and look at it and see how maybe I did something wrong, or I said something I shouldn't have said, or how something else influenced what had happened. Instead of me calling myself by what I experienced, I separate myself from that and I learn the lessons that I need to learn. Okay, so that is how I have been able to learn these lessons, and I hope that they are going to help you. I hope that you find them valuable enough as I have, and run with it. So, first thing that I've learned is that life is in phases. Life is in phases. Life is in phases. I didn't understand this. I didn't understand it for a very, very long time. I used to think that this is it. Like, this is just life. And apart from this, there's nothing, or that this is all there is to life. So I didn't always have this mindset of separating myself from my experiences. I always thought that this is life. This is my life, and this is how it's going to go. This is how it's going, and this is how it's going to continue to go. I didn't have the understanding that this could be a phase, and that every phase comes with its own set of challenges, and that every phase will pass. Like I said today, like I posted today on my Facebook, I told you that you are going through things, you're going through challenges. You are not stuck in that challenge, in that misery that I would call it misery that you're going through. And that mindset will just automatically change something in your mind. It will automatically change the way you see that thing. I'm going through this. So it means that it is just a phase. It is just a phase. So I began to have a bigger understanding, or a clearer understanding of this when I gave birth to baby. So when I gave birth to my baby, the first few weeks and months were very, very difficult for me because, adjusting to the timeline of a baby, you have a little human dependent on you 24/7. You can't even breathe. My baby did not sleep for 30 minutes straight when he was born. So he was always on my body. I was always carrying him. When I was cooking, I would carry him. Everything I was doing, I was carrying him. So I felt like I was going to die. In fact, I slipped into depression at that time, postpartum depression. And one of the reasons I felt like this was it was because it was so difficult for me to carry on. It was so difficult. Like every day I woke up, I was thinking of my baby, what he's going to eat, this and that. I didn't even think that this boy is going to grow up soon. No. I didn't even think in that direction. All I knew was that this is my life. And 1 month passed, 2 months passed, 3 months passed, 4 months passed, and I did exclusive breastfeeding for him. 5 months passed, 6 months passed. That phase of exclusive breastfeeding ended, which means he wouldn't need to always, always suckle on my breast. Even though that was the bonding experience for us, but I just didn't, I couldn't wait for that phase to pass. Even though I wasn't thinking of it as a phase. Immediately the 6 months ended, I started taking solids and other meals. I started missing the times that I would hold him, to suckle for a very long time. I started missing the times that I didn't need to go and worry about feeding bottles and making food for him because everything he would need was on my body. So that phase had passed. I didn't even learn that lesson at that time. My baby continued to grow, and then he turned one. At 9 months old, he started walking, and when he was one, he became kind of independent. And right now, he's going to be 4 in December, and I am so missing all the times that I wished he would grow up. I was constantly wishing, Joshua, grow up, please let this pass. Because when I gave birth to him, the sleepless night was something else. It was something I didn't even think it was going to end, but it did end. It ended, I think, after a year and some months. It ended. Now we can sleep through the night. But these days, this is someone that would not even sleep without sleeping on my chest or on my body. These days, if we're sleeping and I hold him in my hands, he will not sleep. In the morning, I'll be like, Joshua, I did not sleep. Oh. Do you know what this boy will ask me? Is it not you that will not allow me to sleep? Is it not you that will not allow me to sleep? Someone that could not sleep on his own just few months before, or 1 year or 2 years before now, I'm now disturbing his sleep. It taught me that life is in phases. Now, I've had some experiences that I'm not willing to share right now where I thought that I was going to die. In fact, I even contemplated suicide at some point. But I look at where I am now, smiling, being able to tell that story and saying that there was a time, like who could have thought that I, Chinaza, would be saying there was a time? What if I had died? Because in my book, Dear Young One, when I talked about this, it's one of the letters I wrote in my book. I said that the reason people commit suicide a lot or contemplate suicide is because they think that whatever that was happening in their lives or to them at that point is all there is to their lives. I don't know if you understand. The reason people commit suicide or contemplate suicide is because they think that there cannot be a better time or that this is all there is to their life. Like they have based their whole existence on what is happening to them. If they could only think of life as being in phases, they would understand that I'm going through this. This is not all there is. There can be more. There is more. I just have to hold on. Understanding that life is in phases will help you to weather any storm. It has helped me that no matter what I'm going through right now, I don't even bother. Like suicide is the last thing that comes to my mind anymore. It's not even, I don't even think about it at all. I don't. I could feel bad, I could feel sad, but you see, suicide, it's never in my dictionary or in my world anymore. It doesn't even exist in my world anymore. This is someone that attempted suicide 3 times in 2018, 2019, in 2019. What changed? My understanding that life is in phases. Life is in phases. And this understanding also, there are two sides to this. This understanding also will help you to know that this is where you are. So for many of us here, we are youths, right? We are young people. And so on this understanding will help you to utilize every phase, be present in every phase. Be present in every phase, in every chapter of your life. Be present. This is your youthful age. You cannot live your life to chance because you know that you will be old sometime. You're going to be old someday if God keeps you. And you want to live a fulfilled life. You want to be old and fulfilled. And so you have to do the things you need to do today so that you can secure your tomorrow, so that you can secure your time when you will not be able to move around as much as you would want to. I like to say that this is a mid-morning of my life. I'm about to enter the afternoon of my life. And whatever I do now in my morning, in my afternoon, will determine the quality of my life when evening comes. So we are all at different points in our lives. This is not all there is. Being young is not all there is. Your challenges is not all this to you. There is more. You can be more. Okay? So in my book, there was an analogy that I used in my book. I talked about seasons and times. So we have winter, we have autumn or fall, we have summer, we have spring. And I was asking the readers in my book, if these things apply to nature, if weather applies to nature, if times and season happens to nature, what makes me that it doesn't apply to you too? You are a human being. You are on earth. You are in this world. So every law that applies to nature applies to you. So you are living in phases. Your experiences are in phases. And don't you ever base your whole existence on one experience. Don't you do it, whether good or bad. Don't base your experience, your whole life on one experience, because you'll be missing out on a whole lot. Because there is more. There can be better, life can be better, and you can be more. If you base your experiences, your life on one experience that is bad, you've taken yourself away from the possibility of having a better life. Knowing that there is better. Tomorrow holds better. And if you base your whole experience or your life on one good experience, what you'll be doing is that you'll not even be giving yourself the chance to do what? To live more. So there is always more. There are higher heights to attain. There are more territories to conquer. Don't you base your whole life on one experience, good or bad. Okay, quickly, let me move on to the second lesson that I have learned, and that is that we all have something to contribute to this world. We all have something to contribute to this world. So as a teenager, I didn't think I was good enough. I say this a lot. I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't even think that I had anything to give. I battled with low self-esteem. Oh, it was a serious battle that I fought with low self-esteem. I didn't think that I had something to give. And the things that I was doing then as a teenager was just me forcing myself. I didn't believe that I have something. So I look at it this way. Every single one of us has a gift. Every single one of us does what? Has a gift that you were given as you were coming to this world. At least a gift that you are coming to this world with, that you came to this world with. You have a light. Look at it this way too. You have a light. You're carrying a light that you must shine here on earth. And the way I understand it is that if you don't shine your light, there is darkness lurking somewhere. There is darkness that your light would have dissipated if you had shined your light. And because you did not shine your light, because you are not shining your light, that darkness is still there. There is somebody that your life is meant to touch. There is someone you are made for. There is a solution you are made to solve. And this is not me being motivational or something. No. This is something I've learned, I've grown to learn to be true. Every single one of us. I got this understanding by reading the parable of talents. That the ones that Jesus gave 5 talents, 2 talents, and 1 talent. I was wondering, why did he give nobody 0 talents and expect the person to trade and get talent? Then it occurred to me that the least that God can give anybody is 1 talent. Why? Because he is too rich. He is too rich to set this world without a talent. God is too wealthy to send you to this world without a talent. And when I began to understand that I could have something in me. There has to be something in me that I can give. I started looking at what I can do. I started looking at my interests. I started looking at the things that I can do easily. Do you understand? Do you understand? There is something that you are here for. There's something that is a void that you are on earth to fill. And you are not just on earth, you are in this particular time in history to fill that void. And I was asking myself, what would the world be like? What would the world be like if everybody utilized their talents? Do you know how beautiful the world would be? Because when I mean talent, I don't just mean skills and all that. People who have the talent of empathy, there are people who are rich at heart and they touch other lives when they express or when they are open enough to accommodate other people. That could be the void you're here to fill. Not everybody will sell, not everybody will innovate technology, groundbreaking technologies. Not everybody will um, you know produce something that will wow the world. Some people touch the world by their hearts, by their acts, by their actions, by their teachings. Some people, the blessing that they have for this world, when I was writing this point down, it just occurred to me that you can also, that the light you are here to bring on earth could be your perspective, could be the way you view things. I think that is part of my own light, helping people see things from a different perspective that I know would change their lives. So my perspective is one of my contributions to this world. What is your own contribution? You have to learn, because if you're here and you're thinking that God did not give me anything or that I'm useless and all that, you are calling God a liar and you're calling God a poor God. You're calling God poor, and He's not poor. Remember, the least talent you can give anybody is one. The least talent He can give anybody is what? One. All right. Let me quickly move on to the next one. I'm looking at time as I talk. The third one that I have here is that you only live as much as you give yourself the permission to. You only live. This one always busts my brain. You only live as much as you give yourself the permission to. I'll take that again. You only live as much as you give yourself the permission to. I'll say that again. You only live as much as you give yourself the permission to. So you want to live a better life. You want to have this and have that. You you desire this kind of life. You desire this kind of experience, but you are not allowing yourself. You're not giving yourself the permission to do that. You want to do things, but you are not giving yourself the permission to. See, living the life of your dreams is allowing yourself to express your innermost self. It is being in your most authentic state. Because as you're growing up, the world is teaching you who to be, what not to be, what is acceptable, how not to dress, how to talk, how not to talk. And those things and those programmings are working in your mind to tell you that this is the limit that you can live. This is the most that you can live. And for some of us, our childhood have determined how we are living right now. The programming that we had as children, are the, are what we are running on right now. And it's making you not to allow yourself to live the life that you really want to live. If you grew up in a home where you are not allowed to talk, where you're not allowed, where you're not even allowed to express what you want or to say that this is what you want, you grow up to be an adult who wants something but cannot even say it, not to talk of going after it. You cannot even desire it. So if you cannot desire it for yourself, you end up being jealous of another person living that life that you would have loved to live. Is this making sense to anybody? And when you give yourself the permission to live, magic happens. This is me. Magic happens. You only live as much as you give yourself the permission to. And you start living the day you understand yourself, you become self-aware, and you allow yourself to be authentic. Authentic. Not minding what the world will say, not minding what your family will say, not minding what society will say, not minding what anybody says about you. As long as you're not sinning against anybody, you are not so nobody is being hurt because of you shining your light. You have to go on with that mindset, with that goal, with that vision. You see, everybody will tell you, especially when you come from a place where everybody is shallow minded or tunnel vision. There was a song I was listening to. Tunnel vision people will say that you are obsessed. The same people also sang another song that said, they asked him, what the heck is wrong with you, kid? You're running out of your mind. They tell me I'm broken out of my mind. Head in the clouds, I'm doing just fine. Like that, they told him that he's out of his mind, like he has his head in the clouds. Why? Because he's dreaming dreams that were inconceivable, that nobody in his generation had conceived before him. And so, because nobody has achieved that thing that you want to achieve in your family or in your lineage, you think it's not possible for you. Believe me, if you allow yourself the permission, if you give yourself the permission, the slightest permission to live, you'll be amazed at how much you'll be able to achieve. See, giving yourself the permission to live does not mean that you will not be scared. I'm scared 80% of the time. So many of you here will say, hey, Chinaza is doing so well on Facebook, on online. She's a go-getter. No, I'm not. I am doing majority of the things you see me do online. Afraid. But I understand that if I don't allow myself to live this life, I will be old and I'll be filled with regrets. I've been able to conceive it. What is stopping me from living it? What are my mental blocks? Because until you give yourself the permission to even fail, you give yourself the permission, because living is all about the good and the bad and the not so good, right? So you give yourself to live fully, to experience life. That means failing at many things, succeeding at many things, and not being average at some things. Being okay with being human and living your truth. Is this making sense to anybody? I could treat each of these lessons as whole topics on their own, but I understand that we don't have time. Okay, so I'll quickly pass that and go on to the next one. Remember, you only give yourself the permission. You only live as much as you give yourself the permission to. I'm all about living, not just existing. Living. All right. The next one is, I wrote about this on Facebook, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. Never you say, if I were the one, or if it were me. Don't you say, If I was the one, I would have don't know anything. Believe me, you don't know anything. So there are some experiences or some people I've seen things happen to them, and I was like, if I were the one, this is what I would have done. It's so easy to say. I learned this the hard way. It's so easy to say, if I were the one, if it were to be me, who are you? What do you know? Hold on. Just pray that that experience doesn't befall you, that you don't have that experience. Because if you do, that is when you will know what you would do. You don't know what you are capable of, what you can do until you are in that position. Never you criticize an experience you've not had. Never you do that. If you're doing that already, stop doing it. You are not in those people's shoes. If you were exposed to the realities that they are exposed to, you might even be worse. It's if you are living their life, if you are the one in their shoes, believe me, you would cry because you might even have you might even be able to have the ability to bear the pain that they are bearing right now. So many of you would have died if you were in the shoes of the people that you're criticizing right now. Never you criticize an experience you have not had. Never you say, if I were the one. You can only say it if you have experienced it. When I was here, this is what I did. Never you say, if I were the one. Because you have not experienced it, so you don't even know what it feels like. Okay? Recently, I had an experience that I never could have thought I would have done something like that. But until you are in that position, until you are on that seat, you'll never understand how hot it is, how much it burns. Just pray that that experience doesn't come to you. Just pray that it doesn't come to you. Okay, quickly, let me move on to the fifth one. Attitude is everything. Attitude is everything. I think there's a book that is written after this that has this title. Attitude is everything. So many of us, we want to live a good life, right? But your attitude, your disposition, your outlook is what is stopping you from getting so many things. It's your disposition that keeps doors closed for you. So, yeah, you want to talk to people, you want to get into these rooms, you want to have access to this person, but it is your state of mind and the way you view life that is stopping you from accessing certain opportunities. And even when you access those opportunities, it is still your attitude that will determine whether you can keep those opportunities, those access or not. Whether you are going to continue on that path or whether you're going to lose it. Attitude. Attitude. You want to gain access to a king, but you're not willing to serve as big as you are. Ndị Igbo ga-asị ka ndị ka ndị ha. Otu am tụcha maa mma ka m bịa serve mmadụ. How? As tall as I am, as elegant as I am, I should come and serve somebody. As me, a whole me, should come and reduce myself to serve. Are you serious? You're not ready to grow. I have had to drop my ego several times so I can get what I want. I have had to drop significantly my ego. And I didn't even know I had ego. Goodness. See, life will test you. Life will test you. It will test you. I think that was why Paul said, let he that thinks he stands take heed lest he falls. Life will test you. You must take on the position, the heart of a servant, if you want to be a leader. So when the disciples of Jesus were arguing who will be the greatest and the greatest and the greatest, Jesus told them, whoever that will be the greatest of you will be your servant. So how many of us are willing to serve? How many of you are willing to let go of what you think of yourself so that you can get what you want? How many of you have let opportunities slide through your fingers because you became too familiar with the people who have the opportunities that you're looking for? There's a different video on this channel where I talked about the dangers of overfamiliarity. I listen to it, I think, every 2 weeks to remind myself that, Chinas, you have to calm down. Don't get too familiar. Many of you have lost opportunities because you got too familiar. Your attitude. The attitude is an all-encompassing topic. We might have to treat it sometime on this show. I'll have a guest to do that. Your attitude can either make you or break you. Your attitude can either build you or destroy you. Okay? Attitude, very hard to maintain, just like a persona, right? Something like that. So you must every single time be conscious of your disposition, be conscious of your state of mind. That is why self-awareness is important. Christians, we don't like to even hear the word self. Self. They have to kill the flesh. See, the flesh is different from self, please. Yourself is who you are. Okay? It's different. You have to be self-aware. You have to practice mindfulness. You have to know what you're thinking at every point in time. Don't allow your brain to go on autopilot just to roam away. No, you catch your thoughts back. Don't allow your face to give off a different vibe from what you want to express or project. So there's someone I know, she's very good at art, but she rarely smiles. Like her facial expression always, makes her look like she's not someone that you can approach, but she's very, very beautiful at heart. And you don't know that your facial expression is also part of your attitude, do you? So I like putting on a smiling face because it makes me approachable, and it tricks my brain to believe that everything is fine. So majority of the time, even when I'm walking on the road, even if I don't feel like it, I just play songs. See my Bluetooth here. I just play songs to put myself in a good mood. I have to keep on a comforting persona, a comforting look, attitude. The way you talk, the way you carry yourself, attitude. Now, when I talked about letting go of your ego to grow and to get what you want, it's different from sophistication. Your belief in yourself and your eagerness to grow and be better. Okay? I have this terrible attitude now. It's very terrible, but I'm work in progress. And that is, if you see me on the road, you will not believe that this is Chinaza Favour that you see on Facebook. Just my face. It's just my face that will tell you that it is me. But the way I'm dressed, you will think I'm just like one miserable girl like that. Yes, God is helping me. I'm becoming more conscious of it. So yesterday, I was at what I was putting on yesterday, only God knows. I was at different parks, and so many people recognized me. So many people. So when someone will be like, Chinaza Favour, hi. Be like, hi. That is when my mom will tell me, you see how you're dressed, see how you're looking. You see how you are looking. You are not actually projecting your sophistication. You're not projecting the elegance that you carry on the inside. So that is a bad attitude that I have, which I'm working on. I'm working on it. I'm not. I'm that kind of person that would wear slippers to anywhere, bathroom slippers to anywhere. These days I'm wearing palms. That's progress, isn't it? These days, once in a while I wear sneakers. So those sneakers you see me wear online, and when I'm going for functions, that's the time I wear them. But in my everyday life, I wear the simplest clothing you would think of. So if you see me on the road, you wouldn't even know that this is Chinaza Favour. You wouldn't know. And it's not working for me. It makes me to blend with the community and with every other person. But dressing well also doesn't mean that I don't belong to every other person. Do you understand? Many people tell me, Chinaza, you are too simple in dressing. You have to dress up. And it's true. I'm working. I'm a work in progress. Mm. God is helping me. Let's move on. Let's move on. The next thing is you will never know what you're capable of until you try. You will never, all of you on the slippers table, please stop. Please stop. You cannot be following me and you're wearing slippers. I've been delivered from slippers. So you have to be delivered too. Let's be moving together. Eh? The next thing is you will never know what you are capable of until you try. You'll never know what you're capable of until you try. So in 2020, was 2020, yes, something happened and I was with no help. I was without money. There was no hope of where money was going to come from. And that was when I knew that I do business. I knew that, Chinaza, you have something. Oh. That was when I started to think, what can you sell? What do you have in your hand? And I started selling something online. That was 2020, yes, 2020. I sold something online for the first time ever because I was already at my rock bottom. There was no hope anywhere. And I think the reason many people are not pushing themselves hard enough is because they are still comfortable somehow. The reason you are not trying hard enough is because you are comfortable. I wrote this. I'm a writer, so I write all the time. I wrote this in 2021 or so. I told you the story of a man walking with his son, and he was having taking a walk with his son in their neighborhood, where they got to a particular place, and they saw a man sitting with his dog on his side, but the dog was in pain, making a noise to show that he was in pain. And the little boy asked his father, why is that dog making a noise? He said, because he's in pain. And the little dog asked his father, why don't this man help his dog to get up? The man now said, oh, don't worry, it doesn't hurt him enough to get up. It doesn't hurt him what? Enough to get up. That when it hurts it enough to get up, it will get up. Many of you are still saying, Nigeria, life is not this, life is that. Yes, because you still have option. If you no longer have any option, believe me, you'll be amazed at how much you'll be able to stretch yourself. Because it will be like you move from, you move to a survival mode. You will move to a survival mode. And like anything, what will it take me? What will it take me? I always talk about this lady, Lisa Nichols. Lisa Nichols. The day she told her son, don't worry, mama will never be this broke again, was the day She could not even wrap her son. She couldn't provide diapers for her son for 3 days. Her son was wrapped in a towel, and there was nowhere money was going to come from. But she looked at her son and she told him, "Don't worry," her 9 months old son, "Don't worry, Mama will never be this broke again." And that was the day the woman stood up and said, "Whatever take me, I'm going to provide for my son. I'm going to give him the best life any child would ever have." She is living that reality now. Her child has no need for anything money can buy. You will never know. And you cannot stretch yourself until you are in that position where you have no choice. But do you have to wait till then before you stretch yourself? Humans, we are very, very elastic. We are very, very elastic. We can stretch and we will not break, but we're not willing to stretch ourselves. You will never know. There's some things I have done that I didn't think I had the ability to pull it off. But it actually went well. So if you have an idea now that you want to execute, but you're still asking yourself, how will it go? I don't even know how it will go. I don't know what people are going to say. Look. You'll never know until you try. You'll never know what we are going to say until we try. We'll never know whether we are going to buy your product until you put it out. You'll never know what the response will be, what the reaction will be, what the results will be until you try. Okay? I saw something here. Neji Manuel says, "I never knew I was a born graphic designer till hunger dealt with me." It happened just recently. I didn't have a dime on me, but God's so kind. I saw an opportunity and took it. You see, we wait until we are no like we wait until we cannot go any backer than we already are. Like you are at the wall, your back is against the wall, and you cannot go backer than that. That is not a word, please. But we wait until we are completely exhausted before we get up to do something. But do we have to wait till we get there to that point, to our breaking point? What if we term this life an adventure? What if we call it an exploration? And you're willing to stretch yourself, try out new things, because you never know which one will click. All right. Another one is, okay, I've talked about that in attitude. The last one here is that life goes on. Life goes on. Life goes on. Somebody type "life goes on" in the comments. Type "life goes on." I want to see that. Life goes on. Life goes on. You see, we have encountered so many things in life. The good, the bad, the not so good. And life goes on. Life goes on. How do I put it in a way that you'll understand? People die every day. Their family members, when they die, their family members have filled with sorrow. God, why? God, how could you? It's as if everywhere is dark, no light anywhere. I see your comments. Life goes on. Everywhere is dark. But as time goes on, everybody moves on. Yeah, they may not necessarily not care anymore, but they will no longer feel the pain with that same intensity as they felt it when it happened. You had a heartbreak and you thought that this would be your end. Are you not here? Are you dead? How? Why? because life goes on. You did something and you could not believe that you did it. You filled with guilt. You are, you know, it's as if this is it. It's over. You are here. Life goes on. You had a terrible experience and you thought you were going to die, but you are here. Life goes on. Everything negative that has happened in this, I've sat down and I've looked at them all, and I see that life goes on. I have it all moving in my head right now, but I'm having a hard time articulating it in a way that you'll be able to understand it the way it is in my head. Life goes on. Life goes on. Don't kill yourself over anything. I'm not talking of killing, like literally. Don't lose yourself for anything because life goes on. If your engagement was broken, you know what? Life goes on. Because you don't know what you were saved from. You don't know what the marriage would have been like if you had gone ahead with that engagement. If your marriage failed, you know what? Life goes on. Like me, life goes on. When I wanted to commit suicide in 2019, I thought that my life was over. But look at me here. Life goes on. I left my marriage without caring what anybody would say anymore. Because life happens. And it was a very painful period. But look at me. Life goes on. You're going through a very difficult time right now. What am I telling you? Life goes on. The year hasn't been good to you. It hasn't been going the way you want. But here you are, breathing, watching me. Life goes on. It'll always go on. Always. Please keep this at the back of your mind. That life goes on. Life happens to all of us. Chance happens to them all. I love this quote. Happens to them all. Life happens. When people ask me questions and and they want me to start saying all sorts of things, I tell them life goes on. Ma, I don't know what to do at this point now. I feel like I'm dying. I'm there. Darling, life goes on. I'm going to sing this for as long as you need me to say it for you to sing. Life goes on. Look at all the experiences you've had that you thought were going to break you. Look at all the things that have happened to you, to the people that you know, that you thought were going to break you. They may have broken you. They might have broken you. They may have broken you. Yes. But here you are, standing, breathing, alive. Because life has to go on. You lose a loved one. You lost something very precious to you. Life goes on. Why? Because time waits for nobody. And we are all here on a timeline. You don't know when you're going to go. So with the little time that you have right now, with the breath that you have right now, you have to live every moment consciously, being present in every moment. Because life will continue to go on. You don't remain in yesterday. You don't remain in yesterday. Do I have to say it again? You don't remain in yesterday. Because tomorrow is waiting and you are here today. I don't want to sound all motivational here, even though that is beautiful. But please don't rob yourself of the beautiful experiences you can have now and in the future because you are still lost in the pain of yesterday. You don't do that to yourself. Nobody deserves that, not even you. Okay? I had to keep that for later, for the last part, because it's very personal. I've had several experiences that should have broken me, but I'm here. And I tell myself every day, Chinaza, life goes on. Life happens. Life goes on. In August, I was stuck. I had an experience that left me shattered and broken for a very long time. I spoke to a few people. They counseled me. I was lost. I was constantly crying. But here I am. Life went on. I'm here. And that is all that matters. If you didn't take anything from this conversation and if any of these lessons didn't teach you anything, let this one, just hold on to this one, that life goes on. It goes on and on. Life goes on. Don't live in yesterday and don't even live in tomorrow. Live today. Today is what you have. Today is what you have. So live it with every part of your being. Live it with every part of your being. All right? Um, I wish I could go on and on here, but this is already longer than I told us that we were going to stay. So if you have any question, please drop it. Need Emmanuel, your battery is 1%. You can always watch back later, but we are done. I'm done with my part of this conversation. So if you have any question, please drop in the comments. Let me take them. So I'm thinking of something. Yeah, I told you. I just remembered something. I told you that I have a good news for you. So if you've been following this conversation for some time now, you know that for 3 weeks or 4 weeks now, we've not used StreamYard for this conversation. StreamYard was just having issues. It wasn't issues. I was the cause of the problem. I added something in the settings which covered the screen. So if I came on, nobody would see me, but they could hear my voice until I spoke with their team and they helped me resolve it. So that is the good news that we can now stream live from StreamYard. I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy about that. So yeah, if you have any question, please let me know. And if you don't, please let me know too, so we can close. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And you can take a screenshot and share with your friends and tell them what you learned from this session. There's something I was thinking also. I don't know if anybody can help me to get some excerpts from this conversation. I want to start doing it for honest conversations. After the conversation, would have a few points that were made in the conversation during the conversation, and we'll put them in the form of quotes or flyer for the conversation, and we'll share it online for those ones who were not able to join. So if anybody can help me do that, I would really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Although Anna says I do not have a question, ma'am. Janet Izuka. Hi, sis. Good evening. Awesome session tonight. I know, right? Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much. Favour Elochukwu is still very far behind. She's still talking about slippers and all that. The vehicle has moved to catch us here later. Salem David is saying, our adverts, what do you mean, please? I don't understand. We still have 33 people watching. Wow, this is the highest number of people I've had at the close of my sessions. Thank you very much for being here. If you learned something, please don't forget to share with your friends. Don't be selfish with your knowledge. Okay? All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you coming. So, in the absence of any question, we'll have to say good night, and I'll see you next session. Okay, I'll see you next week. Remember, Honest Conversation holds every Thursday by 9 p.m. Every Thursday by 9 p.m. unless communicated otherwise. If it's not going to be if it's not going to hold, you'll be notified. Okay. If not, please come on here by 9 p.m. every Thursday and we'll have something to talk about. Even if it's just a chat and just you tell me about your day, I'll tell you about my day and we'll say goodbye. But I hope to always bring you valuable lessons and conversations here as tonight. All right, thank you everyone and have a wonderful night's rest. Tag me to your posts, to your stories, wherever you post about this, and I'll be very glad to acknowledge them. All right, good night everyone. See you next week, same time, same station. I remain your host, Chinaza Favour. Bye.